Welcome to We Are Pius, the podcast where faith meets formation and our Thunderbolt community speaks from the heart. I'm Jeremy Eckler, Chief Administrative Officer of Pius X High School in Lincoln, Nebraska. In each episode, we'll sit down with the people who make this place more than a school. They make it a faith-filled community, a faith-filled family, actually. And that's important because today we are interviewing a family. So from educators and coaches to students, alumni, and leaders, we're exploring how Catholic education at Pius transforms lives, builds character, and shapes our future. Whether you're a parent, parishioner, or proud graduate, you're invited into the conversation. And today, we have the Ashburn family with us. And I'm super excited about this because this podcast is occurring just before our homecoming game. And what we have today is Taylor, who is a graduate who played football in those homecoming games and helped launch the Junior Bolts program. We have Jonathan, who will be playing in that homecoming game. We have Cara, who was raised in Catholic schools and then came to the Pius community a little bit later. And that's familiar to a lot of our parents who came to the community later. And as I mentioned, this is also the family that helped start the Junior Bolts football program. So we're talking to the family that has kind of the past, present, and future perspective of Pius. And homecoming is a place to talk about that stuff. So Ashburns, thank you for being here and tell us a little bit about your family.
Yeah, this is great, Jeremy. Thanks so much for having us. So, I was born and raised in Lincoln, grew up in the Cathedral Parish. I'm a 1999 graduate.
Soar Eagles, so I'm a Cathedral guy.
Exactly. Yeah. Cara and I met in college. She's from Humphrey, Nebraska, Humphrey St. Francis. And this is just a really fun topic. You know, my mom's a graduate of Pius. I'm a graduate of Pius. And now here we are with Jonathan, third generation.
Yeah. Homecoming is such a special week. So having your family here is just fantastic. So yeah, talk a little bit about the family, the siblings, and, you know, what does homecoming mean to the Ashburns?
So Cara and I have 4 children. Jonathan's our oldest. He's a junior here at Pius. And then our second son, Nicholas, is a freshman this year at Pius. So 2 here, and it's pretty awesome that Jonathan can drive.
Yes.
It's really helpful
to have my oldest started driving. It's been huge.
It's a game changer for sure. We have a daughter, Cecilia, in 7th grade at St. Michael. Okay. And then our youngest is Anthony in 2nd grade.
Okay. Do the boys play football too? Is this a topic, the homecoming thing, that you think maybe we could talk about with them in a couple years?
Sure, definitely. Nicholas is on the freshman team, and Anthony's not quite old enough. Anthony has come to some Junior Bolts practices. Anthony has even dressed up in a full uniform, but he's just not quite old enough yet. And so it'll be a couple more years for him, but he's excited about that opportunity.
Yeah, so what does homecoming mean to the Ashburns? And do you guys have traditions, Pius traditions, homecoming traditions, that sort of thing?
So, I mean, I think homecoming, just like the name says, it's an opportunity to come home. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I can remember as a kid coming to homecoming events with my mom, where she would run into her classmates, she would introduce me, and I could tell for her it was a special opportunity to come home. And so for us, as we've come back to Pius and now having students at Pius, it's really just a great community building opportunity where I can run into old classmates and just be here, be back home at a place that was very formative in my life and a place that's really special and close to my heart.
Yeah, and it makes it like that much bigger of a game and like of an atmosphere with all those returning alumni and players and just,
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan, I go to the Pius games. Obviously, I've got the blessing of being near the sideline, and you are always hyped. You are always amped up, jumping around. So I'm excited to watch you on the sideline and on the field for homecoming game. If you're saying it's even a bigger game, I'm excited to see your energy. But Cara, you actually came from outside of Pius, so not being a Pius graduate, but deep Catholic school roots. Tell us a little bit about your background and your involvement in the Pius community, what it means to you.
Sure. So I'm actually from the Omaha Diocese, Humphrey, Nebraska, very small. Ironically, there's like a lot of Humphrey people at Pius.
Yeah, there are.
For a town of 800, we certainly have a presence here at Pius.
Big Archdiocese and you have presence.
Yes. I went to Humphrey St. Francis Catholic School K through 12. And Humphrey, because it's small, it's like the school and the parish and the town are kind of all just one family all the time. There are some non-Catholics there, but really, as a whole, it's just sort of a community. So that Catholic, the importance of Catholic schools and that community was really instilled in me early. I'm the youngest of 7. Okay. So I got to watch the example of my older brothers and sisters, some of them be 17 years my senior, who were adults when I was little, be really good Catholic examples, and my parents be very good Catholic examples, and very involved in our school, church, community, really show us on a very regular basis what their faith meant to them, what our responsibilities were in sharing of our time, talent, and treasure. And then as my older siblings got older, and we were still in grade school, they came here to the university to the Newman Center, which when my parents are asked, like, how are your kids all still Catholic? How are they all still practicing? They attribute it to the Newman Center. I attribute so much of it to my parents, but I do think that it's twofold, and it's just a really beautiful testament. So when the time came for me to go to college after seeing my siblings all those years, go to the university and thrive at the Newman Center, I struggled because I wanted to continue on in sports, and then decided that instead of going to those colleges that were going to give me the opportunity to play sports, I really just wanted to make faith the center, and decided to come to the university specifically for the Newman Center.
So let's talk about that for a second. What sports were you playing?
Track.
Track was your big one?
Yeah.
And that's a really conscious decision. So when you think about, not to interrupt your story, it's beautiful, but I want to jump in on that faith piece because, a lot of this conversation is about Bolts and football and homecoming, but this Pius community and the faith component, how do you help balance that out? Youth sports, we hear this constantly, youth sports is sort of taking over the family, but yet your story and your family story is one of complete devotion to Christ and properly ordering those sports. How do you balance all that? And maybe that's the next part of your story.
Well, I'm blessed in that I have seen both sides. My family, as much as we appreciated sports, and I was a cheerleader all through high school as well, it just was not something that was our main focus growing up. I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers. My 2 brothers barely played football. We all ran track and things, but I come from just a different background in that way. The football thing is honestly kind of hysterical because this was not my life growing up. I didn't watch NFL games. We really weren't into Nebraska. I mean, I cheerleaded for high school football, but it's just funny now that I have such a passion for it and a focus. But yeah, it's just a balance that when it came to college, even though I really wanted to continue on in sports, I had watched my siblings from all different colleges end up at the university and I just saw how important that was to them. And they sort of communicated this is the biggest part of the decision that you're going to make. Make sure that you go somewhere that can really build you up with your faith life, because it's really, everybody knows college is the most trivial time for kids in their faith. And if that's something that you might waver in, make sure you're in the right place. So
that's great. Yeah, we're going to talk more about faith and football and athletics and activities, and how the activities can really build up the faith when we do it right and embed it. And we're going to talk a little bit about it, especially with the junior Bolts. But with this homecoming theme, let's talk a little bit about what homecoming, the game, meant to you, Taylor. Any favorite memories back in the day from homecoming? And then, talk a little bit about what it's going to feel like to watch Jonathan step onto the field for homecoming.
Well, we lost our homecoming game my senior year. Some kid from Beatrice kicked a 55-yard field goal at the end of the game, and that kind of hurt. That was only the 3rd loss Pius has had in my entire 4 years of being there at that point.
Yep.
And so for us, that was sort of a turning point in our season, and a really good lesson about digging in, coming together as a team, and really just pressing forward in some adversity that honestly the program hadn't really seen. They had already won 2 state championships in those prior 3 years, and here we are our senior year trying to carry on that tradition, carry the torch, and all of a sudden we lost, in that way.
So somebody kicked a kid kicked a 55-yard field goal on natural grass, right? Because it's not field turf back then.
Yeah.
On homecoming,
right.
I mean, that's just
and it was Beatrice. Which,
well, I was going to go there.
No offense to Beatrice, but at the time, I think we had beat them by 60 the year before.
Yeah.
And I remember I was a defensive lineman, and I remember before the snap, there's no way.
Right.
There's no way.
We're about to celebrate here.
And then the sound that I still remember the sound that ball made, and the way I saw it fly over my head. I didn't have to turn around. It's like I knew. But, for me, watching Jonathan play football here is really special. There's there's a faith component that's actually the foundation when it comes to Pius football. And when we were here, we would gather on Thursday nights at the field as a team to pray. I don't know if we started that. I don't remember doing it as a junior, but as a senior class, we would gather at the field to pray on the night before our game. And it's pretty cool that he still does that today. Thursday nights, he hops in the car and heads back to the field.
And I'm a little older than you. I'm 97, but we did that Thursday nights as well.
Did you?
I remember that. So that's a tradition going back at least 30 years.
Yeah. So, but honestly, like having him play for Coach Carney, who I played with, Coach Carney was a year older than me at Pius. He's such a good man. He's exactly the type of father figure that I want my sons exposed to and to be coached by. And then, of course, to have him play for Coach Hansen, who's a dear friend and mentor and a very influential person in my life, to hear him yelling his dig, 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 chop, 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 move your feet, and having it be directed at my son just warms my heart.
You know, we've done so many conversations around so many things, including the podcast. Jim Hansen's name comes up. And it's always like, you should have him on. I'm like, well, these podcasts are only supposed to be 30 to 40 minutes. If we bring Jim on, what are we going to have, like five segments? I mean,
it'd be 2 hours. You'd need a commercial break.
We love Jim, but that's great. And all those connections over the years, 30 plus years of praying on Thursday nights, the names you mentioned, and now seeing Jonathan take this role. So Jonathan, let's flip it over. What does it mean to you? What does homecoming mean to you as a current player? And what does it mean hearing your dad talk about some of those things?
Well, yeah, so obviously Dad's had a lot of success when he was in high school with his team. And this year, homecoming, I feel like, is also kind of a good turning point for us because we struggled, obviously, our first week. But I feel like this week, this homecoming game will be a good time for us to find our footing and start moving in a good direction. I've got high hopes for this week, and I think we're going to have a great game. Yeah,
we're counting on it. I think it's going to be excellent. So does Taylor's your dad ever talk to you about his playing days or give you advice before games, or is he kind of one of these hands-off guys? I mean, what's it like pre-game, post-game with Dad?
Well, I'll definitely never hear the end of it of how many state championships he's won and how many that I have. But, yeah, he talks about it a lot, about hitting the sled, and Dad had a touchdown on defense. Why don't you tell that, Dad?
Tell the story?
Yeah, tell the story.
Well, at one point, it was the 8th longest pick six in Pius history, and I was a defensive tackle.
Yeah, really dug into this.
When Coach Hansen wrote his book,
right
it was. I'm flipping through it, and I'm like, "Holy cow! I'm in the record books." But yeah, that was a fun memory. They tried to throw a little shovel pass. The defensive end tipped it, went straight up in the air, grabbed it like a rebound, and 62 yards the other direction for a touchdown. And probably the fastest I've ever ran in my life.
Yeah. So who's faster in the prime?
Oh, him for sure. Wow. Yeah, he got Mom's track and field skill set there.
It's a good mix.
Yeah.
But no, it's really special to watch him play for the Thunderbolts. And actually, as a freshman, he was number 71, which was my number. Oh, nice. So that was kind of cool when he brought that jersey home. I don't know if it was a coincidence or what, but that was.
You're more interior line. You're more of an edge guy at this point in your career.
Yeah.
But yeah, both line play.
Yeah, they actually let him touch the ball on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose.
Hansen used to say if a lineman touches the ball, something's gone terribly wrong, and that's what happened for me. But he has an eligible number, so he gets to catch and run.
Yeah, that's amazing. So for those who have not played on Aldridge Field, I'll ask both of you real quick. What is it like running out there under the lights? Now we have new lights, but running under the lights. I've heard you actually speak, Taylor, about what that Pius logo means, what it means to practice on the field, what it means to play on the field. What does it feel like to run out onto that field?
I mean, Aldridge Field on a Friday night has a very small town feel and a very strong community vibe. And whether it's the band, whether it's, how people kind of hang out and watch from the track, whether it's the little kids that don't actually watch the game, they run around and they play football.
They're living out their football dreams off to the side.
Exactly. All those things, you just realize it's a moment in the week that brings the community together, and to be part of that, to be on the field, those nights make all the work worth it.
Yeah.
The practices in the heat, the 5 a.m. wake-up calls in the summer to go lift, the bumps, the bruises. It makes it all worth it when you get to run out onto that field and stand on the shoulder of giants. This program has such a strong tradition, And it goes so much beyond football, though. It's all about coming together as a team, accomplishing something that you never could have accomplished on your own, and teaching those life lessons that I still carry with me today. I mean, state championships are great. Obviously, you know, that's the highlight of my career. But even if we hadn't won, the mentorship and the example of Coach Elward, of Coach Hansen, of our other coaches that we had, of coming together as a group, of understanding that nothing is impossible if you're willing to put in the work. Those are the lessons that can teach an athlete, and it doesn't matter what sport it is. They can teach an athlete so many valuable lessons that when they get into the working world, you can draw on those experiences and be a better husband, a better father, a better employee.
Yeah. Anything you'd add? Yeah.
Yeah, getting to run out on Aldrich Field with all of your teammates who you've been putting in work with and blood, sweat, and tears out on that field, it's amazing. It's just truly an amazing feeling to go out there and feels like all eyes are on you with all the lights and all the fans. It's really just a special feeling because it feels like, kind of like Dad said, all your hard work it's right there, and it's truly amazing. I love it.
Yeah, a couple of things that come to mind from what both of you are saying, that foundation for that sacrifice, the work you put in, you mentioned the 5 a.m.s, and it was really great for me this year over the course of my first summer here to see so many of the guys lifting together. I mean, we can all buy gym memberships. We can all go get our own trainer, but you cannot put a price on. We are together, sweating and grinding and watching our gains and holding each other accountable together. I mean, the success happens, right, in June, July, before August hits. That's when the success happens, and that's a culture that I think was fading a little bit, but that I really appreciate the juniors and seniors this year, and I hope that just increases. We need to be together doing these things. And the other thing, you know, this community feel is really fostered, and this is not a podcast about the Booster Club, but you are on the Booster Club. The Ashburns are on the Booster Club by our Booster Club, and we're seeing new membership records. It's starting to get to the point now where if you have a child in the arts, music, athletics, if you're not in the Booster Club, you're in the minority, and that's because the Booster Club makes it happen. You know, that community that happens, that's not just accidental. Everybody shows up at 6:30 and we have a great Friday night. People put in hours of work on the grills, the concessions, the field prep. We'd like more of that. So thank you also for your service to the Booster Club, and I hope for Jonathan and his teammates, they realize hundreds of people rallied around you to make this happen. You know, I'd say that to the students, the student section too. They come out, they're awesome, they're great, but hundreds of man hours went in just for them to have that experience. So.
Well, and when you think about the community that's here, and I would ask Cara this question. I mean, how many people did you graduate high school with?
30.
Right. So, and I think we used to joke with me, you were first in your class, and I'd be like, yeah, out of 30. But
I wasn't, but okay.
Yeah. But I mean, what's your take on sort of how does Pius is a school of 1,100 in a town of 300,000. Does it kind of feel like Humphrey in a way?
Coming into Pius, I was very concerned. It's huge. I mean, when you graduate with 30, I thought you're going to get lost. You're not going to have your people. First of all, Catholics in Lincoln in and of itself is a small town,
yes,
which I found out very quickly, but and in a good way. Pius is even more like that. I can't believe how quickly my children have found a home in Pius, how much it feels like a small town, how even though you have hundreds of kids in a class, it's almost even more beneficial than that class of 30 because there's so many more opportunities when you have a big school, more activities for them to be in. And I don't know, I've been very, very impressed and totally had my view on it changed. It's run in such a way that it is totally a small town within a big city. And just to speak to the football program a little bit, I know I said that's not something I grew up with. It blows me away how much more there is to football here at Pius than I realized there was to that sport. I love watching Jonathan. I love watching the team. I love all the work they put in. But the character building, the relationships that they have with their coaches and with each other, the building up of our faith from the very base, and Coach Carney praying with them, and them having team prayer together. Jonathan lived a half injured season last year. We're injured already again this year, which is, kind of unfortunate. But like you said, there's no lack of zeal on the sidelines. And it says something about you, Jonathan, obviously, but also says something about this program because there is such a passion and a brotherhood and a love. I'm so excited for what these guys are going to do in the future just because of the dynamic that they have together and what they're showing about how they build their Catholic faith outside of just on that field.
And there's so many amazing things going on here from a faith perspective. I mean, shout out to Scotty Sullivan for all that he does. The Restore initiative that happens on those Wednesday nights when you can have 400 or 500, however many, come. It's not mandatory. Kids coming for adoration, to hear a testimony, to go to confession. I think back to when I was here, that wasn't an opportunity we had, but I wonder, how many of us would have gone if that would have been available? And the fact that, you guys are doing such a great job with things like that, it's just so impressive to me.
Yeah, Scotty Sullivan's the head of our campus ministry, Tori Roberts, Lily in there, Father Freschel, our chaplain. And those are the things we see, right? Now we've got chaplains for every team. We've got nearly every team. I think we're missing one or two, but it's going to happen. And we've got so much going on during the school day from campus ministry, and they're engaged, and I think a lot of people take this for granted, they're engaged in the faith formation of our staff here too. So the resources around faith, you're right, Taylor, we did not have that coming up. I hope our kids don't take that for granted.
Yeah.
But it is now, it's why we exist, right? We exist to represent Christ in everything we do. If not for those things, what would the point be, right? And that's what makes Pius distinctively different. We've talked a lot about the past, a lot about what's coming up here in the near future. Anything on those topics before we move on to the distant future and a little bit of Junior Bolts? No, we're excited for homecoming. We're ready to go, and you're going to have a lot of Junior Bolts watching.
Oh yeah, it's to be a player on Junior Bolts this year and get to be I get to be one of those players someday, and just I wish that I could have had the same experience that the Junior Bolts players do, just to feel like you're a part of the team before you're in high school. I'm really excited to see what that can do for us in the future.
Yeah, I was just telling Charlie Morrow that my son Hank, who's 12, but he's almost the same size as Charlie, by the way. But my son Hank, I was telling Charlie, he picked you out as his favorite a year ago. And he watches everything you do. He stands next to me on the sideline, and he's always watching you. What does that mean to you, Charlie? And so I would ask kind of the same question, to you, Jonathan, to know Junior Bolts are watching you and everything you do. I think one of the hardest rooms you can ever be in front of is a room of 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds. They notice everything. Magicians even say they'll do magic in front of adults and not sweat. But children, because their imagination and their ability to absorb everything matters. We've got 100 and how many in the program, Junior Bolts football program?
159.
159 sets of eyes.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does that feel like?
It really just you got to set an example for them, and you got to show them. I wasn't able to play the last 2 games, but I made sure that I still gave it my all and still just lived out my passion for the team. And you wanna show that to those Junior Bolts players. You want them to see that here at Pius on our football team, we have a lot of passion, and we're all brothers, and we're all in this together, and that everybody's doing whatever they can to help out their team, whether they're on the sideline or whether they're on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've done a lot of coaching, and one of the things I would always tell my players is, if you're feeling pressure, that's a privilege. That means people have expectations of you. That's a privilege. Let's carry that with pride and a sense of responsibility. Taylor, I've heard you talk to the boys about this at Junior Bolts practices. I have 2 sons in the program. It's not just about the football on the field with Junior Bolts in any of our sports. It's really about creating a sense of connection for a family of families. Tell us a little bit about Junior Bolts. Tell us about the culture and tradition and really the inspiration behind the movement.
Definitely. So we saw an opportunity a few years ago to do something different, something that had never been done, to create a true feeder program for Pius where we could make faith the foundation, where we could have football players in Lincoln for the first time playing together with their future high school classmates, where they could feel like they were part of the Pius program. And Coach Carney has said to his staff, to his players, to our players, the Pius football program now runs from 12th grade to 3rd grade. And to see that come together this year has been really special. We want to create that vision for these young athletes of being a Thunderbolt someday. They get to practice at Aldrich Field. They wear the green and the gold. We want to create that vision for them that someday that's going to be me. Someday I'm going to run out onto that field. And so it's something that I'm very passionate about. I would like to publicly thank my wife for all of her support.
We got to talk to Cara because this is a sacrifice for everybody.
It has been. It's been 2 years of a lot of work, a lot of meetings, a lot of hours. You know, my family did sacrifice a lot for me to be able to do this. Now that it's up and running, I keep telling her it's going to get better. You know, I hope she believes me. And no, I think that it will. But it's something. It's such a unique opportunity and something that I felt called as I took it to prayer as we were thinking about trying to put this all together. I just felt called to give back in a way to a place that means a lot to me in a unique way. You know, you talk about time, talent, and treasure. We may not be able to write a 6-figure check as a family, but I can give a couple hundred hours a year to something that I know is so much bigger than football. The community that's forming within this Junior Bolts program, as I mentioned, the kids are playing with their future classmates. We're already seeing that, how they're growing together, and the lessons that they can learn about life, are very valuable. It's also been really great for the parents and the community that this is building amongst the parents. Because when these parents come to games, you might have a St. Michael family sitting next to a North American Martyrs family. And they never would have had that opportunity because of how youth sports typically are put together with maybe kids from your parish or more, closely to where you live. And so those bonds, the friendships, the community, it's all building for the day when they step foot on this campus as students. And those parents can continue to watch their sons play together as Thunderbolts, someday. And so it's really just been a lot of fun and something that I just feel so blessed to have been a part of.
Yeah, and I just want to, again, your appreciation for Cara is, I feel it too. I mean, I know the sacrifices that you've had to make and also the support. So thank you for that. And I also want to just show appreciation for the fact that you were very methodical in building this. This is not, everyone sees the product and they don't realize, to chop down that tree, it took 6 hours of sharpening the blade so we could cut it down in an hour, right? This program is 24 months in the making.
Yes.
You set up, you went and found the right coaches. You built the interest. You built the foundation. All the stuff that's not fun with the legal side of things and insurance and all that stuff and all the relationships. And that's essential to doing this right. So I really want to show my appreciation to you for doing all of that, because what it's manifested as is, I think, the largest youth football program in the youth football in the city.
Correct.
I think it's had an impact on our freshman class. It's the largest freshman football team we've had in a long time. I think it also might be the biggest in the city now. We have over 50 guys on the freshman football team. Right. And they're off to a great start, obviously beating Scott in an amazing game that everyone's been talking about as well.
Yeah. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mean, when you got the seniors and juniors talking about the freshmen, and that means a lot to the freshmen, like, wow, you guys pay attention. That's a big win, So, and, we love our friends in Scott, but we also love beating our friends in Scott. So
100%,
that was a big win
100%.
At any level. We'll take it. They've got a great program, and we love when we compete against them. So, yeah.
It's been really exciting for me to, even though it's been a long labor of love, to watch Taylor and the other people who have helped with this program build it. Because, for one, we don't have a child in the program right now.
That's a good point.
There's no self-interest on Taylor's side. There may have been times where I've said, you realize we don't even have a child that's going to be playing in this program right now. But to see, like he said, the passion from parents, the real need, honestly, for it as like a feeder into the school, and to make the Pius family feel more cohesive through the grade schools. I'm just so excited when our 8-year-old gets to Pius, and so many more of these families have relationships. When you're coming to freshman orientation night and you walk in and so many more people because of things like Junior Bolts football and Junior Bolts basketball and that whole program. So
A real quick story. I talked to a parent who had signed their son up for Junior Bolts basketball, and the roster came out, and she was worried. She looked at the roster, and she says, "Oh, my goodness, there's not a kid from his school. He's going to be so disappointed. He may not want to play." And he gets home, and he looks at the list, and he's like, "Mom, this is awesome. Those are all my friends from football. Now I get to play basketball with them?
Yep.
This is great."
Yep.
Perfect example of what we're trying to do. And I just can't wait for the day when these kids show up on your doorstep as freshmen. You know, the community and the bonds and the friendships they're already going to have. It's just going to be beautiful to watch these seeds we're planting, grow.
Yeah, and in the midst of a campaign with a new performing arts center, new athletic facility, a beautiful chapel that it's going to be incredible for people. The other thing we're really trying to tell people is, while we retain about 85 to 90% of our 8th graders coming in as freshmen from the Catholic schools, we really want to emphasize to our friends who are in the public schools, like, this is a place for you. If you're open to the faith, open to the experience, open to the community, just come try it. So I have a Junior Bolt story too. I was there for the basketball tryouts, taking my son. So I was there in the dad role, and someone said, "Oh, you work here, help sign kids in." So they gave me a clipboard, and I'm signing kids in, and I look at the list, and there are half dozen kids whose school is listed as LPS. Really? And I went and found those families, a couple of them, and they were just like, this is kind of our introduction to the Pius thing, but we heard about the community here, and we wanted to try it. We've just been walking around the commons, talking to families, and this place is just amazing. Everyone seems to be kind of speaking the same language. Likewise at football, I go out to the rookie game. I'm wearing my Pius hat. A dad walks up to me, says, that's a great hat. I need to get a new one because I was wearing a Northeast hat, but I think we've made our decision now. Can you get me a Pius hat?
Excellent.
That's
all right.
awesome.
So this is the message, right? Like, we want a K-12 experience in the Catholic schools in Lincoln. But we also want folks at other schools to understand this is worth your time. This is a community. This is a special place. It is possible. The things that you might think get in the way, whether that's tuition or finances, we've got answers to all those things.
Right.
It just takes a conversation. And for those 6 families at the Junior Bolts basketball, when I was signing them in, they were willing to come and just ask a few questions, and they found community. So
that's great.
I just think this is just beautiful, what's forming here, and I think it's all as much appreciation I show to your family and the sacrifices. We all acknowledge that this is God's work. God's guiding this, and that's where we're starting.
100%.
So
Exactly.
let's jump to that now. Should we do lightning round? You guys ready for lightning round?
Yeah.
We'll fire away. We'll just go right down the row. So this is a lightning round. We're the Thunderbolts, so it just seems appropriate to have a lightning round. So who is your favorite saint right now? Who are you connecting with? And we'll just go left to right. Yeah.
Okay. So I thought of Saint Joseph.
Okay.
As a husband and a father, but I think of Saint Joseph because I think he embodies what it means to always seek God's will, even when life throws you a couple of curveballs.
Mm-hmm.
This is a man who probably thought he'd have a normal life. He met some cute Jewish girl named Mary. He had his little carpentry business, and he probably thought, this is just going to be
we'll just settle in.
Nice,
quiet life.
Suddenly, she's pregnant with the Son of God. Suddenly, she's going into labor, and there's no room at the inn. Suddenly, Herod's trying to kill him, and they've got to flee in the night. But he stayed true.
Yeah.
He stayed faithful. And so as a husband and a father, it's like when life throws you a curveball, there's nothing you can't handle.
Yeah.
And, he doesn't have any quotes in the Bible, so there's humility in that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Christmas songs written about St. Joseph. There's humility in that. Even till maybe just recently, he wasn't even mentioned in the canon of the Mass. There's humility in that. So there's a lot that I, as a husband and father, have learned from St. Joseph.
Nice. Cara?
Definitely St. Francis of Assisi, and it doesn't really change
that's my
for me.
guy. Yeah.
I mean, alma mater playing a role in that, but also I've always had a devotion to him as someone who is naturally anxious. The idea of peace in a vein throughout my life is something that's needed, and I look to him constantly. And Taylor and I have visited Assisi a few times, and has
beautiful.
just grown in such a way, seeing how someone can live such a humble and beautiful life and the impact that they can have because of that. So hopefully I can bring some of his peace to our family through his intercession.
Yeah.
And
he's my guy too. And now we have we just saw the canonization of Carlo Acutis, and his body is there in Assisi. So I think his feast is actually October 12th. So all those Assisi saints together.
mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Francis is great. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mine would definitely be Saint Sebastian. He's my confirmation saint, patron saint of athletes, and I feel like it's really. So there's a story about him where he was tied to a tree and shot with arrows, but he didn't die, and he got through it by grace of God. And right now, kind of a little bit of backstory. So last year, I tore my labrum in my shoulder at the beginning of football season, and struggled with that. Played through half the season, had to get surgery, and then on the second play I was in at our fall kickoff scrimmage this year, I tore my labrum again, and basically reversed my whole surgery, and I have to get another one. So I kind of feel like I can relate to Saint Sebastian in a way, kind of like that. Obviously not the same way, but just it's been a really good that having him as my confirmation saint. Praying to him to help me get through this tough time mentally and physically, going through injuries like that. But yeah, definitely been praying a lot to Saint Sebastian.
Yeah,
It's interesting that you picked him because although you are named after my brother, Father John, I really wanted Jonathan's name to be Sebastian.
Oh, wow.
You got your wish.
That's fantastic. Let's do favorite Bible verse.
So I did the Bible in a year with Father Mike Schmidt's podcast
so
last
good.
year. I'd like to just say the whole book of Sirach would be my answer. But no, because the book of Sirach, it kind of reads like a lesson from a father to a son. And I had never read it before. And so, for me, it would be Sirach 2, verses 1 and 2. It says, "My son, when you come to serve the Lord, prepare yourself for trials. Be sincere of heart and steadfast, and do not be impetuous in time of adversity."
That's nice.
I know that everybody says Philippians 4:13, but it is, you kind of
Maybe
have
there's a
your
reason.
go-tos.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, long term, that is one that's always resonated with me because there's an opportunity to need strength on a very regular basis in our lives in all different areas. And Jonathan's
was
showing
mine
me that's
too.
what he picked too.
Oh, that's happened twice now in here.
Yes.
It's great.
We're just given opportunities every day to be stronger than we think we are in our lives as parents and spouses and humans in this world, and doing all things in Christ who strengthens us. I think if you can wake up every morning and say that to yourself, that's certainly going to be a good start to your day, no matter what your trials are.
Yeah, same one for you, Jonathan?
Yeah, I
Wow.
also picked Philippians 4:13. It, like I said, with my injury and stuff, just having faith that God has a plan for me and that I can get through whatever. If God has given this cross to me, I can get through it, and I can persevere. But yeah, it's always been a Bible verse that I've loved, and I feel like it's really applicable right now. Yeah.
That's great. We'd love to pray with and for your family. So who or what are you praying for as a family or each individually? We'd love for our community to hit pause and take some time and add you to their prayers.
Right. So I would say our niece Elizabeth and her husband Dominic are expecting their first baby.
All right.
And so we're very happy for them. They're special people to us. And so we're so excited, and we'll keep them in our prayers for a safe pregnancy and a healthy baby.
Yeah, my prayer intention as a whole recently has been my nieces and nephews with my siblings and I and their kids. There's like 55 of us, so there's a lot of people. But they're all in these different stages of life, from toddlers to teenagers, engaged, newly married, a house full of kids, and just trying to make sure that I very intentionally am praying for them all the time, especially Dom and Liz with their baby on the way, and my niece Maria that's getting married, just because I know how much family prayer can have an impact on you. From my own aunts and uncles and the beautiful experience I've had with my own siblings, I want them to have the same. So
That's
keeping them
good.
in my prayers.
Very nice.
Yeah, definitely praying a lot for our family, for Liz with her new baby. My girlfriend Leah, her cousin Taylor also just had her baby, Evelyn. So praying a lot for family and friends, and praying that we can continue the great faith community that we have here at Pius. We had our first campus ministry meeting the other day. So I'm just praying that we can all live out our faith, and that things like campus ministry can help bring our school together.
Yeah, those are great prayers, and we'll add your prayers to our prayers as well. Is what I should say.
Thank you.
The next question is, who's your hero?
Yeah, it's hard just to name one, and but I would answer that question by saying my parents and Cara's parents. I would say both did such a wonderful job raising us. My parents, my dad was in corporate America. Cara's dad's a farmer. So 2 different experiences there of sacrificing, providing for a family, raising kids in the faith, passing on the faith. I wouldn't be Catholic if my parents hadn't passed it on to me, and neither would Cara, and then neither would our children. So
it's beautiful. It's a gift. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my parents are mine as well. I was trying to pick between them, but it was all for nothing because I wasn't going to be able to pick. So, the example of my parents, but even now the grace with which they have shifted through the different seasons of their life. My parents are in their 80s. They're amazing grandparents to my kids. I just desire to be like them and live my faith consistently, unabashedly, through the rest of my life.
What a blessing for folks, for parents our age, to have great parents, great in-laws, and to see your kids surrounded by them. I mean, I try not to take that for granted because that's not everybody's story. For sure. Right. All right, Jonathan, pressure's on. They both said parents, and now here, if you say,
it may or may not have
Patrick
been
Mahomes, we got a problem.
It may or may not have been Dad. So very.
Who's
original.
your hero, Jonathan?
My hero. I mean, both of you are my heroes. But
okay.
When I thought about this question, I thought about you, Dad. Just you really shown me the value of hard work with your work and with Junior Bolts and all the time that you've put in. It's really admirable how much dedication you have to your faith, your family, to our school, to Junior Bolts. And yeah, I want to grow up and be like you.
Oh, thanks,
Wow.
buddy. Very nice.
Wow, that's powerful stuff.
Thanks, man.
What's one thing you want the Thunderbolt community to know about you?
I'm incredibly grateful to be raising my kids here. Faith and family are central to Cara and I and our family. And it just means a lot that Pius helps nurture both of those things and that it's the foundation of the school. And I guess I would want to be known as someone who contributes, but not just for my kids, but for the whole Pius and Catholic school community.
The whole picture. It's great.
Yeah, I think I feel the same way. I kind of like to go into the background, so I don't really like to talk about what I want people to know about me or know what the answer to that question is. But yeah, what Taylor said definitely resonates with me, and I feel the same.
Yeah, that common good, serving that common good. By the way, we're getting through this question. All of us are like wiping away tears from
Sorry.
Jonathan's answer still because it was like
Way to
so
go, brownie
great.
points, buddy.
So
Good
Thank
job.
you.
Yeah, we're all wiping away. Yeah, that was beautiful.
He's going to
but-
ask if he can stay out later tonight. I'm going to have to say
By the
yes.
way-
He's gonna leverage that
Curfew
moment.
tonight.
Well, yeah, let's kick it over to you. What does the Thunderbolt community need to know about you?
I mean, I always want to be the kind of person that's approachable, whether that's about faith, about something going on in your life. I want to be a person that can be there for everyone and be like having a good, like I want to be a good example for others. Like out on the sideline of football games, I haven't been playing, but I've been yelling and screaming and losing my voice. And I want to be an example to people, and just try to be the best leader I can be.
Yeah, one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was from a Pius family, Tony Fulton. I was going to him for some mentoring, and Tony said the key really is, can you sit at every table in the lunchroom? Could you go to every table and sit down and know those people care about that you care about them and they care about you, and that transfers through life. And Jonathan, I see you putting in that work. It's good advice from Mr. Fulton, and
Totally.
I see you working that as well. So our last lightning round question is a prompt. And so I'll just start it, and Taylor, you can finish it, and we'll pass it along. The best part about being a Thunderbolt is?
Just being part of the tradition. There's a lot of pride in wearing the green and the gold, supporting one another, and carrying on something that's been built over generations. Like I said, my mom went here, I went here, and now Jonathan is here. So just being part of that tradition is really, to me, the best part.
That's great.
Yeah, definitely. And being able to live your faith during all of that and not have to hesitate or be careful about what you say,
Yeah,
whether
living
you're
it boldly. Yeah.
in the stands or in the classroom or on the basketball court or wherever. I don't know. Oh my gosh, I'm proud to be a Pius Thunderbolt. Did you ever think I'd say those words when I was like, let's move to a small
I used to
town?
make her watch all of our high school football
Oh, I did
videos when
love
we were
it.
dating,
Yeah.
and I knew we'd convert her someday.
No, I'm proud to be a Pius Thunderbolt, definitely.
Oh yeah. To me, the best part of being a Thunderbolt is the community. Just being able to have 200 plus friends in my class that I can come to every day. And because it's a faith-based community, I can have those good faith conversations with those people and with like people like Scotty and all the priests that we're blessed to have here. Yeah, I love the community here.
Yeah, a great shout out to the priests too. Another thing we take for granted, all the religious that are supporting us, walking the halls, just so great. Well, this conversation has been outstanding. You have a beautiful family. Thank you for blessing the Pius community with everything you do. And thanks for acknowledging what a blessing the Pius community has been to you as well. And we look forward to more of your good work. Looking forward to a great win on homecoming, and excited to see Jonathan and all of his energy as well.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank all of you for joining us on We Are Pius. If you enjoyed today's conversation, share it with someone who loves Pius and Catholic education as much as we do. We are blessed to be Bolts, and let's do this one together. And until next time, do your best to restore all things in Christ. Great work.